Is it bad luck, or does Meghan keep making things worse? Every time she launches a new project, her Netflix documentary, her cooking show, her latest podcast, she gets intensely criticized.
She's just so bad.
But there's one thing, though, she does brilliantly well. One pattern she repeats over and over. She pushes people away. Today we're breaking down the real reason people turned on Meghan. That subtle habit that kills her charm. And what you can do instead to make people feel more connected to you and like you more. Hey there, I'm Rachel. Let's start with the credibility gap. The gap between what she says and what really happens. The reason why people feel disconnected to Meghan is because her words and her actions, they just don't match. She talks about love and compassion and kindness.
Find ways to show up for each other. What hospitality has felt like for me is, how do you make people feel comfortable? How do you show up for them?
But then many of her former staff members, they have accused Meghan of bullying.
Insiders claim she's known for belittling people, being relentless, marching around like a dictator in high heels.
Being a boss.
Yes. Treat people the way you want to be treated. That is always how I've moved.
There's a clear disconnect between what she says and the reality.
When Meghan says one thing and has said the other thing. So that disingenuousness.
And you'll see some great examples of what real connection with people looks like in just a moment. But let's talk about another clear gap. The gap related to her family. Her own father, Thomas Markle, mentioned this about Meghan in a very recent interview with the Daily Mail.
Meghan has never been authentic. She has to think about everything. She's not spontaneous.
There's a clear disconnect between what she says and what really happens. Actually, Maureen Callahan explains it so well. Take a look.
I'm going to show you how to make a happy home, a warm, loving environment. Despite severing ties with nearly every member of my family of origin, save my mother, and successfully severing my husband's ties from his entire family of origin.
Meghan tries to connect. She tries to engage with people. It just feels inauthentic. However, there is a very simple fix. And that is, first of all, to avoid vague, empty words. Words without meaning, without depth. Take a look at the following clips and notice what she says. And by the way, if you haven't done so already, can you hit the like and the subscribe? Thank you so much.
Everything is temporary. To really just enjoy what time we have here, what we're doing with that time. It's a surprise and delight moment. You take something really pretty ordinary and you can make it extraordinary.
Meghan uses words that are so superficial. Words like we and very broad instead of something more personal, just a tiny bit of personal touch. But no, everything is so polished and rehearsed and
perfect.
Let's look at some examples and compare Meghan to others. This is Drew Barrymore. She has a cooking show, she invites guests, and she asks every guest the same question.
What are we making today?
And here are 3 different answers.
Okay, so thumbprint cookies. I love this because you can do it with your kids or friends.
My son doesn't have any patience. In the morning, he wants something hot and yummy, and oatmeal gets a little boring. And it's the simplest thing. It's like just cooked apples.
I've made pierogies my whole life with my mom, my aunt, and they're, have the Eastern European vibe.
Did you notice the difference? How Meghan keeps it very broad. You can cook these cookies with your friends and your kids. She's not talking about her at all. Nothing personal. Pamela, on the other hand, is saying that she made whatever she was cooking with her mom and the Eastern European vibe. And then Selma is talking about her son. It's that little personal story, that little bit of personal touch that makes all the difference. And I have searched the entire show and episode to find something more personal about Meghan. And all I could find was nothing. Actually, that's not entirely true because I did find Meghan sharing something personal. But there is a catch. And you'll see that later in this video. You see, the thing is, you become more real and authentic when people can relate to you. And you do that very easily by adding a little personal touch, a little personal story. Here's another brilliant example of Selena Gomez, who's sharing her personal struggle having lupus.
See, with my lupus, sometimes my hands are very weak.
Same.
Like when I have a flare up, it's hard for me to open a water
I get
bowl.
you ever getting worse.
Lupus buddies.
Yep, you got it, buddy.
Obviously, you choose how much you want to share about yourself, how personal you want to make it, how much you want to open up in a conversation. But it's that little bit of personal element that draws people to you. And you can make it as small or as big as you want.
On our Sunday nights, I forgot to tell you, is we do something that's from my Camilla's mom.
Mm-hmm.
They're Brazilian, right? And
Yes.
so they have something called mosquito. You go to the fridge and you look at every leftover you got.
An empty.
And you empty it out and make some sort of concoction out of it. That is a meal.
You see, it doesn't have to be very personal or very intimate. It can be light and fun, but it's still a little bit of your own personal story. I don't know, like, have you noticed yourself when you're watching a show or when you're having a conversation with someone and they open up a little bit with you? Don't you feel like you feel more connected and because you can relate more to them? I would really like to know if you can leave a comment below if you've noticed that difference. Because in Meghan's case, when she tries to make everything perfect, the perfect jewelry, the perfect garden, the perfect outfit, it just pushes people away and it comes across as fake. But when you open up and you share a struggle, that's the reality of life and people can relate to that.
I pulled a card looking for a roommate on 85th and Broadway, and I slept on this woman's kitchen floor for 9 months. $400 a month. It's a great deal. I had a futon and my suitcase.
I did mention earlier that, yes, I found Meghan Markle sharing something personal, but there is a catch.
But last night when I went back to my hotel, there was this sweet card from my kids and my husband saying, "We're so proud of you, Mama, and congrats on the show," and with flowers.
She manages to appear as if she's opening up about her family and her husband and her kids, but in that tiny moment, she makes it all about her because she puts the attention on her new show. And just 2 minutes later in this episode, she does it again.
Infamous.
Yes, very
amazing
soon you'll be
jam.
able to have the jam, and it's not just the fresh fruit spread. So many other products, and then there'll be more coming.
The focus is on her brand, on her products. Of course, I get it. If you're in business, you want to promote your business, you want to promote your products. But the reality is that people are not attracted to the products. People buy stories, not products. People want to relate and connect to the person behind the brand. This video is not at all about being overly negative towards Meghan. This is really about understanding what makes someone feel more distant and unlikable. The truth is, it's not always easy to open up, to connect with people in every conversation. I'm still learning too. And if you're shy or an introvert like me, you will love the next video because it's about a celebrity showing how she went from shy to effortlessly charismatic. I'll see you there.